Hey folks, welcome to the Off Monday Ramble, and welcome to the 100th Off Monday Ramble. How about that? Though some of you may notice, if you look at the playlist for this series, that there are not 100 episodes available to watch. And that is because a few years ago, I privated a few episodes of this series and a few of my other videos from other series as well, because they feature my wife on camera with me. And a couple of years ago, I and also my wife began to receive some pretty nasty and sustained abuse and harassment that continues in one form or another to this day, incited against us by people who make response videos, not just about me, but about other people as well, that are extremely mean-spirited and dishonest and designed to bully and harass their targets. And as a result of that, and as a result of the blowback and the backlash and the abuse and harassment that she was receiving, my wife asked me to remove her from my YouTube channel. And I did so. And I completely agreed and understood with her reasons for asking me to do that. But it's been a few years, and a lot has been said since then by these people and their followers about me, about my wife Ashley, about our marriage. A lot of very strange theories have been floated. A lot of wild, completely unsupported conclusions have been drawn about her, about our relationship. So Ashley agreed to come on the channel one more time, one last time probably, as herself, and talk to me, have a conversation about what has happened in terms of the internet situation since I decided to take those videos down, since we began to both receive significant amounts of online harassment and abuse, and to talk about how things look from her perspective. The reason I say her appearance on my channel as herself is she still does things on the channel with me. We still collaborate. It's just on the Steve and Stuffy videos. As some of you probably know, she does the voices for several of the characters in the Steve and Stuffy videos. She's the voice of Millicent and Wilhelmina and Squirrel. And that's going to continue. That's not going to stop because we both really enjoy doing those and have a great time making those videos together. But she has not appeared as herself for many years, and this will probably be the last time that she appears as herself on my channel, at least for the foreseeable future. And she will not be on camera. We recorded this conversation just audio only, so I'll just throw an image up and you can listen to the conversation that my wife and I had about us and our experience with being targeted by some absolutely vile, contemptible people who, because of the hands-off approach of social media platforms like YouTube and Twitter and Patreon, have been able not only to attack and abuse people like us and many other people who have gotten it even worse than we have. I mean, people like Riley Dennis and Francesca Ramsey and Anita Sarkeesian and Christy Winters. These people have been attacked in most of those cases even worse and even more viciously than I and my wife have. But it's the same sort of thing. Identify a progressive or socially conscious person, identify a supporter of feminism or racial equality, identify a critic of white supremacy or misogyny, and scapegoat that person and attack that person and bully that person, and then collect the money because you can profit from doing this. So that has been our experience for the last several years, and you'll get to hear what Ashley thinks about that, and you'll get to hear her correct a few misconceptions about her and about our relationship and about all kinds of other things. So please have a listen to my conversation that I recorded just a few days ago with my wife, Ashley. So, Ashley.
Steve.
Welcome back to my YouTube channel, appearing as yourself for the first time in like 3 years. How have you been?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine.
You good?
I'm good. I'm good. So this is the 100th episode of this series of the Off Monday Ramble. You are the star of the only lost episodes of this series. So I invited you back, and you very kindly agreed to come back so we could talk about why those episodes aren't up anymore, And why the only people who can now watch those episodes are people who are watching stolen versions of them.
Right, yeah.
Because my original versions are no longer up. And basically why your very occasional rare participation in my YouTube channel in the past has led to such stress and anxiety for both of us, but for you especially. So did you want to talk about the well, you were in 2 episodes of Off Monday Ramble, and I guess the one that has triggered the most drama was the Joss Whedon one, right?
Right, yeah. We need to talk about Whedon.
We need to talk about Whedon, yes. That's the one where you said that my music collection was sexist and that Joss Whedon's work was sexist and that anybody who liked either of those 2 things was a horrible person who should be executed, basically.
Yeah.
That's basically what...
That sounds right.
That's pretty much what you said, right?
Well, in preparation for this little interview,
Right.
I watched that video for the first time, and boy,
What did you think of it when you rewatched it?
we need to forget that we need to talk about Whedon. Watching it again, I can completely see how certain conclusions were arrived at by strangers. I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, it's obvious to me that I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't really care about it, what I was speaking about. And
Right.
I know currently I regret doing that whole video because it appears as if I'm acting as an authority on subjects that in real life, honestly, I don't care. I don't care about Joss Whedon. I don't care if you watch Buffy or Angel or if you like one more than the other. I don't know if that makes you a sexist. And Steve,
Yes.
let it be known. I am releasing you of all judgments on your music collection. I don't care. I don't care. I mean, my God, I'm the arbiter of nothing. I don't know why anybody took that video so seriously. And I was not prepared. I mean, I'm not a YouTube person.
Right.
I was not prepared to be, first of all, to get any kind of feedback in such a large way. And I was not prepared to be so roundly hated, certainly.
And for something so innocent,
Inconsequential. I mean, to me, because at the time, after we were finished, I mean, that was just a throwaway video. It was nothing to me. I really had no stake in it. I did not care at all about it. But looking back, I seem to remember when we sat down to film it, that certain opinions were expected. And they better be strong opinions.
You thought that it should be argumentative.
And I thought that's kind of what you wanted. I thought you were sort of looking for kicks, like for a laugh, or...
Right.
Obviously, it did not come across as intended, if that is how you wanted.
Some people. And there were some people who weren't looking for material to make response videos out of. There were a lot of people who watched the original video and thought it was fine.
I know, but I understand it looks very adversarial when you watch it. Like, I look pissed. I look really, really annoyed. Do you ever find, I know for myself, I have found, and part of the reason I wanted to do this today is that when I'm 34, and when I look back upon my life, I don't recognize often the person I was.
Yeah.
As recently as 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm shocked by my past selves. To me, today, it's upsetting to think that I agreed to do that Joss Whedon video. That I agreed to really be on your channel at all. Because it's not my place. It's not my forum. I mean, I know I'm here today, but I'm not on screen.
Right.
But I do that a lot. I do that all the time. I look back at things I participated in, like in the past, or things that I've done and things that I didn't do and things that I've said and believed. And it seems like it belongs to another person. It belongs to a different lifetime. And I don't know if it's just me or if other people experience that disconnection.
Yeah.
But I have. And I feel so different. I feel like I'm a different person than who appears in We Need to Talk About. Was it We Need to Talk About
We Need to Talk About Weed,
yeah.
yes.
Again, I sound really naive, and I think it's because I really, before this all happened and at the end of 2015, when they made the videos, and I honestly, I had no idea, no conception of that you had any enemies at all. And seriously, because you always protected me. You never talked about it. You never mentioned that people hated you because of your SJW leanings or anything like that. Actually, I think a lot of people would be amused to find what a rosy picture I had of your YouTube audience. I really thought, and I was a little envious because I thought, Steve, he has these minions and they're falling at his feet and he has this fandom. I don't know. I had this very particular opinion of what your YouTube channel was and your audience. And so I was shocked. I was appalled when I found that people had dug up this video that you and I had done like back in April, and then in November, December made all these nasty things.
But see, this is something that we've talked about in private a bunch of times, right? I feel like in certain ways we've had this exact conversation like off mic forever, or at least ever since the
what about the video?
Ever since we did that video, and then it started getting a lot of negative attention. I mean, like, I understand completely why you regret it, and I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, like, I feel like I'm constantly reminding you that it wasn't that you didn't do anything wrong. I mean, you might say now, having experienced all this bullshit, that you had an error in judgment, or you should have known better, or you should have not done it. You shouldn't have put yourself out there, right? And I totally get that. But it was a fine video. You didn't say anything that was that controversial. You didn't say anything. I know you say. I mean, you were trying to be a little more turned up and argumentative.
Yes, I was quite strident.
More strident than maybe you would be usually. But there's nothing you said in that video that was remotely offensive or controversial. It was a perfectly fine video until some shitty people came along and ruined it for their own devices, for their own purposes.
And that's all true. But even if that hadn't happened, I probably would regret making the video, just because I do not feel it accurately represents me or my attitudes toward things or my attitude toward you. And I feel as if people have used that. From what I gather, they've used this video as an opportunity to dismiss your work, not just to have these imaginative little fantasies about my genitalia and our sex life and our marriage, and but they seem to just reduce you down to, oh, well, you're just your wife's puppet, which is like, that might be the most fantastical thing about the entire backlash. Not to sound callous, but I don't really pay attention to what you do.
You have your own shit to do, is what it boils down to.
And you don't pay attention to what I do. As far as our work goes, we have a pretty independent work life.
If I want you to see something, then I show it to you. If you want me to see something of yours, you show it to me. And,
exactly. But otherwise, we give each other complete freedom and space.
You say like it causes people like to dismiss my work or whatever. I mean, they were never going to consider it in the first place, because that's not what they do. They pretend to be interested in having discussions and having arguments and debates, but that's not remotely what they do. They attack people and mischaracterize people and try to generate outrage about something that they said, because they have an audience that laps that shit up. They're trolls who are pandering to an audience of trolls, and it's, look at what this guy did.
Yeah, and see, as I'm not on YouTube, but so just from the outside and just the little corner of it that you're in that I've experienced, it's like a Goya painting. You know, just full of like anguish and
a little overwrought, a little
it's like Saturn devouring the sun. Like that to me, that is
You're like it's just a little over the top, don't you find it?
Of free thinker, atheist YouTube. You know, I think people would be surprised to know how different we are in our approaches to some things.
Well, I think the main difference between the two of us is that you question yourself constantly, and I almost never question myself. I proceed with this delusional confidence in most things where I'm like, this is a good idea. This is going to work. You know, and you, I mean, not just with my stuff, with your own stuff. You're constantly stopping and going, is this good? Is this the right thing? Should I be doing this?
Well, and like with this video, the Joss Whedon thing, it was not my finest moment. It was bad.
But see, again, I hate to keep beating this point. I mean, you say that because you're very self-critical, which is, again,
but I think that's good. I think it's good to
absolutely. I could
hold yourself accountable for things.
I could probably stand to be more self-critical. But people are free to disagree with points you made in that video if they want, and you're even free to say, you know, actually, I didn't really feel that passionately about it. I was just making an argument because I wanted to provide an entertaining video. But I mean, I've never understood, other than for people who just want to give other people something to be pissed off about for no legitimate reason, I've never been able to understand what you said in that video that was so bad. Because here's my favorite part. There are people who leave comments or even say things occasionally in videos where they're acting as though they're concerned on my behalf.
I love that.
I love that. Like, Steve, get out of that relationship, man. I've been in relationships like that. You need to find someone who can make you happy. You were criticizing things, at least you were appearing to criticize things in that video about me, about my preferences, about my...
I was pretty critical, and I shouldn't have done that.
No, but
I shouldn't have. I regret that.
But from my perspective, as the person who was being criticized, while I might not necessarily entirely take your view on it, at least, you know, or the view that you expressed in that video, there was nothing about it that I found that upsetting. There was nothing about it that I found like unfair or like, how dare you say that? Or, but there was nothing about it that made me want to get defensive. Because the truth is, whether it's true or not of any particular individual, it's not that outrageous in our culture to say to a man who prefers work by male artists or featuring men that it might have at least a little something to do with sexism.
Well, but I don't think... I'm sure part of it was the content of what I was saying. But I think a lot of it, what people seized upon, was my demeanor and the way I said it. I think that is what chummed the waters of the hatred for me, and faux pity for you, and you know, hatred for you, because people love to hate you. But
you were being a bossy, opinionated woman.
Yeah, and I just can't believe how seriously people took my words. I'm not making laws. I'm not legislating. I'm not... I don't remember telling a crowd or pontificating or preaching at anybody. I mean, I was...
You were talking to me.
Critical of you, yeah. Clearly, I was not putting across my true self or my real views on issues or whatnot, or... It was a very skewed version of myself, which told me, and I know you always say, oh, well, it's their fault for misinterpreting it and seizing on it for their own profit. And that's all true, I'm sure. But it sort of encouraged me and made me learn the lesson that I need to control what I put out in the world. You know, I need to evaluate myself and how I present myself. I think about that a lot. I think that's why I pulled back from social media, because I'm a little morbid. I think about death and dying a lot. And the legacy we leave now is all online. You know, all these ghost profiles of Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all that. And what trace what I leave? Do I want it to be one of like pointless opinions or things that don't truly represent who I am? Or would I rather put out something that is good or generative and you know, contribute something? I've thought about that a lot in the last couple of years.
Do you think that there's a balance though?
I know my instinct is to withdraw.
Right.
Like my instinct is to just completely vanish myself, to absent myself from the situation. And your approach when you get blowback from things is to press onward and to put yourself out there even more and be even clearer about what you mean. And that's where we're very different. But I still get messages that say, well, according to you, I'm sexist because I'm not. My music collection isn't 50-50.
Oh, yeah. Which I don't think you never made that.
I don't care. I like, live your life, people. I don't care about your music, your media choices, the books you read.
Right.
Go to it.
And
like, I'm not.
Don't put your, you know, people saying those comments, like, don't put your fucking insecurity about what a shitty person you are on someone else, you know? Because, I mean, it seems a little defensive. The lady in the YouTube video said that her husband's music collection was sexist, therefore she thinks that I'm sexist too, but I'm not, and I'm going to prove it by writing to her and just... You know, it's like
I didn't think about that, but yeah,
it's so screamingly insecure and pathetic.
Oh, and I do, to put another rumor to rest, Steve and I do use the same blockchain on Twitter.
In fact,
yeah, you sent me the link to whatever.
Didn't I show it to you? Yeah.
Block Together, I think.
Block Together and the Twitter blockchain browser plugin. Yeah. Oh, well, God bless the person who invented this.
I just want to avoid it. Again, like, I like to just go away. I just like to disappear when people come at me. And so that's why I block people, so I don't have to see their transporting little fantasies of our sex life.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, they think I have a son or something.
I haven't heard that one.
Oh, yeah. Something to do. They think I have a son and...
Well,
and
you must have had him when you were 22, because we've been together like every day since then. And
you
didn't sneak a pregnancy in there.
Yeah, you and I have been together for, it'll be 13 years.
Since
right
before you graduated college.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say that we like each other.
I think that would be a reasonable conclusion to draw.
So I always just thought it would be fun when I came on your channel. I never thought it would.
Well, and it was, and it would have been.
Well, and you know, everything today is all about branding and who you are as a person, who you are in private life. And, and I thought, again, with my conception of your fan base being completely benevolent, I thought, well, they want to know how happy we are. Again, that was I would never do that today, except for that. But
I mean, my audience is great, right?
Yeah.
The people who come,
about all of them, but that's okay. That is just me.
The people who watch my videos because they find what I do genuinely interesting or useful in some way are great. It's the people who come from someone else's video that are the problem. My favorite thing? Not my favorite thing. My favorite thing is something good, but in this petty context, one of my favorite things is when I happen to see, and usually it's because someone else draws my attention to it, because I don't go looking like for people, you know, who try to harass me online. Like, that defeats the whole purpose of the block list, you know, like, that's to avoid that. But, you know, occasionally, like, one of them will sort of randomly find their way in front of me. And I love how self-important some of them are. Like, some random shithead with like a fucking avatar of Pepe with a Make America Great Again hat with 5 Twitter followers who posts like a screenshot crowing about how I blocked him. And I have no idea who the fuck it is, because I almost never block people manually.
Right, like, it's all automatic.
I subscribe to block lists. Every once in a while, I might use the blockchain app to block someone's followers if it's a particularly shitty person and they have a very aggressive following. But I very rarely block people by actually going to their account and hitting the block button. It's almost all automatic. So all these people who are like, God, he's such a weak mangina, like he can't even take any criticism. I penetrated his echo chamber and all I did was say hello and he blocked me. God, what a cuck. And it's like
the obsession with cuckoldry is I don't know. It's rather fascinating.
It's just like when people just get so bent out of shape over some random person on a YouTube video who they have no connection with, expressing an opinion that they can somehow interpret as being critical of them personally.
Yeah,
and they fly off the handle and they're like, I can't believe people, I'm not sexist, I'm not racist, there's nothing wrong with me, I don't have any biases at all, how dare you suggest that I harbor any level of prejudice about anything, I'm a perfect person and there's nothing wrong with me, and I don't have to change anything. That speaks to a certain level of insecurity to me. That seems a little bit defensive. It's like when people try to insult you or insult me by saying like, oh, your wife gets fucked by black guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I'm maybe...
And black dildos.
Yeah, it's like maybe,
that
I don't know.
are a particular length.
Maybe.
They always have...
Huge, big black dildos.
A very specific length specifier.
It's like
anyway.
you're like the person saying that is clearly very insecure about those things. I don't really think about them. It's not really a hang up of mine, like I'm not disgusted by interracial sex or by trans people or the idea of cuckoldry. It's not my thing, but if other people enjoy it, let it go. Good for you. You found something that you enjoy. Like, I'm not bothered by it.
Sex up the poop shoot.
Sex up the poop shoot. I don't have a hang up about it. It doesn't bother me. Whether it's my thing or not, if other people enjoy doing it, let them do it. I don't see why I should be insulted by the insinuation that I like doing something that I may not actually enjoy doing, but I don't think it's like awful. It's like when people will try to insult me by saying that I'm Jewish.
Yeah, that's not
which I'm not, but why would I be insulted by that? Like, it tells me something about you. It tells me that you're such an asshole that you think, I know what'll get him, I'll say he's Jewish. No, that would work on you because you're a fucking asshole. I don't care because I'm not a horrible piece of shit fucking person. Just like I'm not like offended if people say, oh, your wife is transgender. She's not, but I wouldn't give a fuck if she was.
I think,
because I'm not a fucking horrible person. So since this will probably be, at least for the foreseeable future, the last time that you will
final act
that you will appear on my channel as yourself. Is there anything else that you want to say?
I just want to say again, I don't care about Joss Whedon. I don't care about that Marvel movie. Whether you like Buffy or Angel, I like both of those shows.
Yeah.
I never think about feminism when I'm watching either. Actually, Angel might be I guess I'm the sexist.
How dare you?
Because, Angel, I think I have more affection for because we watched that first. I watched it out of order.
You even got me, this will blow people's minds. You got me the DVD set for Angel as like a Christmas present.
I did. Yeah. In 2007, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Not Buffy.
No,
Angel.
And we watched Buffy.
You enabled my sexism.
Later. Yeah, I did. I don't control your channel. You have to help me crop a photograph, okay? That I don't even know how this stuff works.
So you don't edit my videos.
I don't control your comments.
You don't dictate what subjects I talk about.
No, I don't do your block bot. My God, I do not wade into the sewer.
It is, yeah.
You seem very hardy. I don't know how you deal with all that. I could not deal with the endless, unsolicited or solicited feedback.
Yeah.
Could not deal with the sea of useless harassment and negativity and just people being mean. Couldn't deal with any of it.
I look at it this way. If you have like a burst sewer pipe in your basement and you have to go down there every day and shovel the shit out, eventually it's just going to become a thing that you do. You're still going to want people to fix the pipe. you're still going to be pissed that you have to do this in the abstract. You're still going to consider it a completely unacceptable situation. But if it's a situation that you yourself have no power to correct, then eventually it's just going to be something that you do.
I would never get used to it. I just get, every now and then, somebody coming at me, and it takes me aback. I can't imagine ever getting used to that. But I know people get used to lots of things. So.
Well, yeah, it's, like I said, in the abstract, I am pissed about it. I don't think that I or you or anybody should have to put up with it. And I think that, you know, YouTube and Twitter and Patreon and Facebook have completely abdicated their responsibility. Like, I think it's completely unacceptable and outrageous that they allow their platforms to be hosts for, you know, for people who just do nothing but bully people and incite bullshit against people and attack people and spread hatred and intolerance and fucking neo-Nazis recruiting and posting their fucking bile. I think it's completely unacceptable that that happens at all, or that anybody has to suffer the kind of abuse that I have suffered or that you have, or people who have suffered 100 times worse than I have.
Yeah.
I'm hugely pissed about all of it and think it's completely outrageous and unacceptable. But every day I have to go down in the basement and shovel out the shit. And eventually, even though it shouldn't be, and it doesn't make it any more acceptable, it becomes normalized because it's just what you do.
And I don't abuse you.
That's back to the checklist.
Forgot, yeah.
Back to the misconceptions we have to correct.
All right, were you finished?
No, I'm done.
Okay.
But yeah, okay, so let's check off another misconception. Yes. You don't abuse me.
No, there is no shot collar.
No shot collar, no cattle prod.
No.
No catto nine tails.
God, I can't believe people believe that.
But I don't know if they even, I think it's just
I know, they love a villain. You know, you don't watch Silence of the Lambs for Clarice Starling. We all want to see Hannibal Lecter.
I watch it for Jack
do the
Crawford,
tongue thing
personally.
And talk about fava beans. Okay, that's what we want. So, I'll be your villain, baby.
It's an implement of abuse, is what it is. It's just something that they can beat you over the head with.
For them,
yeah, I mean, they don't care. It's not important to them. They don't care whether you abuse me or not. It's irrelevant to them.
To me
it's just a weapon for them.
I would think that I would do that, but
yeah, and it's out to me. It's absurd, but I mean,
I am half Steve's size.
Well, not only that, but I mean, like we've been married for going on 7 years, or for over 7 years now. We've been married for 7 years. We've been together in total for 13. We spend almost we've spent maybe like a grand total of maybe like 5 nights apart since we got married. I mean, like we've been together constantly. And very happy. Like we're not at each other's throats. We're not sick of each other.
And we've been through it all. You know, we've been through a
lot of stuff together.
We've been through good times. We've been through bad times. Through sickness.
Yeah.
And health. And Richard.
all the marriage vow shit.
You know, we've done it all, and I think we've come out stronger.
Yeah.
Finally.
In closing.
In conclusion, I would tell people, judge Steve by his work and his words and his actions, not by weird, creepy theories about our marriage or about me. I am nobody. Seriously, I have no influence on this thing at all. That is all I ask, and please leave me alone.
So can I clarify? I mean, I am allowed to listen to male musical artists?
Yeah. I absolve you. I don't care.
Okay, well, look, I love you.
You know what? Oh, I love you too.
Thank you for doing this.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad to do it. You know, I'm glad to do it. I think it's important to put this out there alongside all of the other commentary, quote unquote.
That's, again, an incredibly charitable term to use.
Is floating around. People can find the truth if they wish to find it. So
yes.
The truth is out there.
Yeah, X-Files. We'll end on that.
We're such pop culture babies. Okay.
You know what the greatest triumph of our marriage to me to date is when we were years ago, I mean, after we'd been together for a while, but at some point much earlier in our relationship, you said that the difference between us was that you were a book baby and I was a TV baby. Mm-hmm. I think slowly, gradually, insidiously even, I have...
You pulled me to
I have managed to...
upside down.
Yes, I've pulled you into the upside down.
See, there again.
I have transformed you, at least in some measure, into a TV baby.
And you know what I've transformed into? A demigorgon. Steve Shives' wife. Out of the ash I rise with my red hair, and I eat men like air. That's the version of me that people want to believe.
The version that quotes brilliant poets?
Well, just little bits and pieces. But you know, I think, again, people get very narrow perceptions of people that they've decided to hate for very shallow reasons. I mean, some people are clearly, they deserve the criticism they get because of their actions and because they have done and said heinous things, or they have incited bad things. You see what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
It's clear. I'm not saying that everybody should be, we should carefully weigh them. But some people who we decide to hate for sort of flimsy reasons, like people have chosen to hate me, who I don't think they have that much information on me other than that video.
Right.
I feel as if it's good to remind ourselves that we should look a little deeper and maybe consider that they're a human being. And because you're a human being and you have your own complexities and your own complicated way of thinking and version of the world, I think it's only fair to offer that grace to other people to a certain extent. If you're willing, if you're willing to get that angry about it, then you should be willing to go the other way too, maybe. I try to be fair. All these people that have disseminated the video and, naively I think, well, if they just knew who I was, if they just knew that I'm not a one-note person. Nobody's a one-note person.
Yeah.
Then they wouldn't hate me. They might not like me. They might not agree with me. And it would be different if they disagreed with my work, something I put out there. But they seem to have a problem with me. And that's what troubles me, I guess. I'm tired of thinking about me.
Hey folks, hope you found that one worth listening to for the most part. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and also please consider helping us to make more videos like this one by supporting this channel through Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/Steve Shives to become a patron. See you next time.